Thank you very much, Chairman. Welcome back, Mr. Wallace. It is good to see you again. I have two topics with you today. One is that from the Department of Interior's very name, right down through its focus, what we coastal states see is an organization that is heavily focused on western, inland, and upland issues, and that pays very little attention to coastal concerns. I raised this with you during my confirmation hearing, and I would like to ask you to perhaps in a response, written response, take this as a question for the record if you would like, because I don't want to put you on the spot or just get a 1-minute answer to a longer question. What are the ways that you have undertaken to make sure that your organization pays attention to coastal areas and that we get fair treatment up against upland, inland, and western areas? I know that this will distress our chairman from his upland, inland, and western state, but I do think it's fair that coastal states like mine and Senator Carper's are not left out of the Department of Interior's attention. The second question is much more local to us. We've had the chance to discuss this, you and I, offline, and that is the park that is being developed along the Blackstone River in Rhode Island and in Massachusetts. Unlike the West, where you can draw big squares on big chunks of territory and call them parks, we've been developed since the 17th century in some places, and certainly since the 18th century. And so trying to carve out park areas is complicated. And what we're able to do is, in the Blackstone Park, treat the Blackstone River as sort of the bracelet and attach to it a variety of charms of historic significance. And then we have the question of how do you link it all up by road, by the river itself, by bike paths, and all of that. And that requires a whole different and more complicated regime of looking for easements and put-ins and takeouts and all of that. And I would like to invite you to come to Rhode Island at a convenient time once we have a meeting set up for you and sit down with Senator Reid and myself and go through where we are on concluding that park and get your attention to getting this done for once and for all.
Well, let me answer the second question first. Yes, absolutely. Look forward to coming up to Rhode Island to see you and learn more about Blackstone. And I think we've talked about it. There may be some lessons learned with the Cuyahoga project, because it sounds like
the Blackstone never caught fire.
Yes, I look forward to coming to see you. And ask to your, is the interior going to get into the exterior or of the country? I think we already are there. If you look at the coastal areas that we have under management, either as refuges or parks in Florida, Cape Hatteras, Point Lookout, the Texas Gulf Coast, we are in the business of understanding these big changes that are happening. Dorian recarved some of the North Carolina coast right now. What's that mean for us as an agency on how we look at beach restoration? So we are being challenged by today's times to understand those questions that you've asked me, and we're in the business, and we're going to be in it even a bigger way in the future.
When we drill down into your accounts and into the Army Corps of Engineers accounts, we very often see huge discrepancies in where funding ends up, with the vast majority, in some cases, 80, 90% of funding in accounts going to inland and upland uses and not to coastal uses. So I'll take you through those accounts and we'll see if we can get them to be balanced a little bit more fairly in favor of the coastal states that have so long been not the Department of Interior's focus. Thank you.
I look forward to that, Senator. Thank you. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you again.